Hi everyone, my name is Mark Verhel C. Francisco, and today we are going to talk about data encryption.
So what is data encryption? So data encryption is translating data into another form that may seem meaningless, but if we actually have the right decryption key, it can be decrypted back to its original form. An encrypted form of data is called plain text, something that we can actually understand or read, while the encrypted one is referred to as ciphertext. So why do we need to encrypt data? So because in this digital world, data can be used by cyber criminals to commit fraud and identity theft. In order to protect our data, we need to encrypt it whether it is stored in our computers or transmitting it over the internet or some other networks. Data encryption ensures the confidentiality and integrity of information being sent and allows only authorized users to view its content. For the use case scenarios, so we have here the database. For database, normally what we encrypt would be the passwords for in our data fields. Now, I think that we should also encrypt the PII or the personally identifiable information, and that would actually include something that directly identifies the name of the person, the address, social security number. If a database administrator would be looking at it, it's not only the passwords that are encrypted, but also the information of the person. Cloud storage. So when it comes to cloud storage, we'd want to ensure that our data storage is encrypted, the application data, the data in the object storage. Compliance and payment. So again, we'd want to make sure that when we have our credit card information, it's encrypted from end to end. Next is the application for email, chat, and SMS. So there are confidential information that we send out through the email or probably in chat, like when we do some video calls or when we send out the photos. We don't want those information to be leaked and be sniffed by cyber criminals. Data breach. So I got here like Adobe Creative Cloud. In 2013, they actually had 153 million user records that was actually reported to be hacked and stolen. But um, it ended up like Adobe paying 1.1 million in dollars in legal fees. And it's also reported in 2016 that the customers were actually paid $1 million. Next is Yahoo. So this one is really big because they had the biggest data breach in history in 2013 or 14 when it impacts 3 billion user accounts, where it compromised the names, the date of birth, email addresses, and password, and security questions. Now, in 2016 and 2012, LinkedIn had a server leak when it comes to user information, and they actually had it resolved by resetting the password for the affected accounts. End-to-end encryption. So we have here some suggested apps that actually can help protect us. So why do we have Facebook Messenger or Telegram? So again, by default, they don't have end-to-end encryption, but they have this similar way of encrypting it. When you go to Facebook Messenger secret conversation, it is actually encrypted end to end, similarly as with Telegram. Next is we have Signal, Viber, and WhatsApp. So probably we're familiar with Viber, WhatsApp, and now with Signal, it's also open source, same as with Telegram. The good thing about this is that it encrypts video messaging aside from just take the text messages. Now, for Proton Mail, the good thing about this one is again encrypted end to end, and it's also based in Switzerland. So when it comes to privacy, it would be protected even if somebody would, or like probably a government would ask for this information. Well, they would be giving it. So what we have here would be tips to protect our data. So first is don't access personal or financial data with public Wi-Fi. Turn off anything that you don't need. You can also delete the app. If you don't need it, don't use it. And also try to protect yourself from allowing apps to use your GPS or the wireless connection. Next is choose your apps wisely. Next is use a password, a lock code, or encryption. Now, be skeptical about links and attachments. When we try to use our mail, make sure that we don't open links. Next is trace and erase. Trace or erase. So for this one, we'd want to make sure, again, if we don't use the app, we'd want to actually remove it. And also, like when we use like messaging apps, we'd want to have like the feature of Signal that could also self-destruct the the data that we have. And protection for it would be if our data is lost or stolen, we have a way of tracing it, and we also have a way of erasing this information. If say for example, if there will be failed login attempts. All right, so I got here the sources where I got the information that I've shared with you. Basically, that's it. And thank you so much. And once again, my name is Mark.